too far away because then we have to stretch to show everything, but how's that? Dude, pay attention. How's that?
I'm paying attention.
I said how's that 3 times. Oh, I like your glasses. Are they new?
No, I have 2 pairs.
Oh.
This is my better pair. The other pair is all scratched from the clip-on things for stitching. Okay, how do I look?
You look gorgeous.
You look good. We're kind of centered.
I think that's as good as it's going to be. Hello, Flosstube. My name is Dawn Marie.
And I'm Anna.
And this is our channel, DM's Crafty Vortex. This is a channel where we talk mostly about cross stitch and any other crafty adventures we happen to get up to throughout the month. I have pretty much only cross stitched. I did a little bit of knitting, but I didn't write it down to show. Have you done anything?
I've only been cross stitching. I've done some sewing. Yeah. Made a lot of project bags for giveaways.
And if you were lucky enough to get one of those giveaways, they were amazing. I saw them. So, what should we start with? Oh, do you have any shout outs?
You want to start with the shout outs?
Start with the shout outs. Because you know what? I notice sometimes people do the shout outs at the end and not everybody's watching at that point.
People are checked out.
Right. And I feel like we should do the shout out at the beginning because they're amazing and I want to get their names out there, but people are still a little bit interested.
Definitely.
They haven't had a chance to click off and go to the next video
Exactly.
yet.
Well, I've been watching quite a bit of Flosstube. I've been ramping up and finding some new stitchers to watch. One of my regulars that I do watch, I wanted to mention her. I don't think I've mentioned her before on the channel. It's Heather from Charm City Stitcher. And I watch her pretty frequently. Sometimes I get a little behind and I have to catch up and kind of binge on her videos to catch up. But recently I realized we're like twins. We're like sisters from another mister or something because we stitch all the same stuff. She's stitching a few things now that that I've stitched in the past, and she just started Raven, which I have scheduled for Fancy Lady February. And there's just so many parallels in the things that we stitch. So she's fantastic, and she has a great selection of things that she stitches, and she usually has some hauls, so you can get a lot of ideas of new things to buy. She's just a lot of fun. Anyway, that's Charm City Stitcher, Heather. Check her out, definitely.
And Heather, if you're watching, I just want to give you a warning. Later on in the haul, you may not want to pay attention because I am not going to be responsible if you buy anything else. I will take full credit for your change and your Be-Stitch Me, but just letting you know there is a little bit more of a change, and if you buy more stuff, that's on you for watching because you've been forewarned. Yes. I'm going to be showing things.
Yeah, if you watch DM's Crafty Vortex, you have to have willpower so that to avoid being enabled, especially with Dawn Marie's fabric clubs.
Yep. I mean, it's great to be in a fabric club when you do mostly full coverage
That's
and you
right.
just use the easy grid, but it's so pretty, I can't give it up.
Yeah.
All right, so my shout out is for Nadine, and her stitching channel is Nads underscore X stitch. So NADZ underscore XSTITCH. And they're both going to be listed below. So she does a lot of full coverage and other things. And she just finished a Chatelaine Evening in the Park.
Ooh.
And I believe she also just started 2 more. So her cross stitching is amazing. She does beautiful work. And I just discovered her. It was one of those, you know, you're watching and you don't want to hit the buttons and you just watch whatever comes up next. And she popped up and I've really been enjoying her. So I've caught 2 or 3 of her episodes now. So
I'll have to check her out.
That is definitely my recommendation for a checkout at Nadine.
I do have one more if I can squeeze that in.
Absolutely.
All right. Another shout out is Elle from the Keystone Stitcher. So I discovered Elle by searching for full coverage stitchers because I've been really enjoying my full coverages and want to commit a lot more to my full coverages. And that's how I found Elle, the Keystone Stitcher. She does primarily full coverage and she finishes stuff.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't do always enormous full coverage projects. She does more medium-sized, but she gets them done, and that's really motivating for me, so I really like watching her. She does have a variety of other projects. She just did a whip parade recently, so it's a great time to get in on following her because you can watch her whip parade, get an idea of the projects that she's got going on, and continue following her into the following year.
I'll have to give her a check.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of her.
Yeah, she's great.
All right.
So that's it for
That's
me.
our shout outs. And speaking of, I think you've mentioned Fancy Lady February a couple of times. So those who have not watched us before, and for all you new people, thank you for giving us a chance. And for anybody coming back, thank you for watching us every
Definitely.
single month. I know we're like a film length Flosstube over here. I think we run about an hour and a half. Sorry about that. But, you know, I like watching the long ones. But so Fancy Lady February is going to be done about the same as Lisa from Cross by Floss. She does Mirror May and Nora November. She just finished up her Nora November.
Yeah.
So sad it's done. But in that, I'm going to start a new Fancy Lady every week in the month of February. So I'm going to start 5 new Fancy Ladies. Every single one of them is going to be by somebody different. So I will have 5 Fancy Ladies that will be designed by 5 different people. I'm going to do it in vlog style, so a little clip every single day. At the end of the week, I will release the video, and Anna's going to join along, but she's just doing one Fancy Lady that she's going to stitch for the whole month. And we'll get some snippets from her as well. I don't know how well that's going to work out because she's going to have to send me the little snippets every day, and we'll see how well we can get that.
Figure it out.
Well, it's more of me figuring out getting the snippets into where
Yes.
they need to be.
Gotcha.
It's the tech person over here is going to figure it out.
Got it.
So that will be in February. I'm
Yeah.
really excited. I had everything all set to go. I had everything all kitted up.
So you've made your 5 choices?
No.
Oh.
Yes. But they're not the 5
Yes,
that
but no.
Not the 5 I've already got kitted up. So now
Okay.
I've got one halfway kitted up. If you're not busy, we need to go to Joanne Fabrics later.
Okay.
I need to finish kitting it up because have you been to Michael's? They have nothing. Is Michael's getting rid of their DMC selection? Because it looks like I don't think they've restocked in months.
They might have
Not
shipping.
because of the staffing, because they have made it through all their boxes and now they've got a whole bunch more. But they just, even when all the boxes are empty, I haven't seen any DMC. So I have to go to Joann's for the rest. But I started at Michael's because I had a gift card there.
Sure.
And Michael's now has self-checks for all of you. That was absolutely amazing. And then one more I'm swapping out because of my little oopsie with my husband. And now I feel like the one that my husband bought and kitted up, a Fancy Lady for me. Bought and kitted up. I don't know how he pays attention because I ramble, but he picks up on things. So I really want that one to be one of the Fancy Ladies.
That you do in February.
That I'm doing in February because I'm going to try and do mostly no new starts except for Fancy Lady February. So I don't want him to buy and kit something up for me and me not touch it for like a year and a half.
No, I think you should definitely switch it out so that you make that one be one of the 5.
And I really love that one.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's going to be a mixture of brand new ones and some old ones. So it'll be a nice mixture. So that is going to be Fancy Lady February.
Yeah. So join us, and you can join us in any capacity that you can. The original idea is to start a new Fancy Lady each week for a total of 5, 1 each week in February. But if that's too much for you, we still want you to join in with us. Don't let that be the reason why you don't participate. Because, for example, that's a little too much for me because I'm new to stitching Fancy Ladies and I'm not even quite sure if I'll like it. So I'm just going to do 1 this year. Maybe next year I'll enjoy it and ramp up from there. So join us at whatever capacity you're comfortable with.
Right. And also, if I start 5 this year, next year might just be 1. I love Lisa. Love Nora November. Love Mirror May. But I don't think I can start 5 Fancy Ladies every single year because I don't stitch fast enough. That I don't want to have 10 and then 15 and then 20. But yeah, so this will be, we'll see how this February goes.
It'll be something
Looking
new.
forward to it. Something new, something fun. We'll see how people like it because it'll be a little bit different. And if I do that, aside from Dark Queen of the Earth, I don't know if there'll be much more stitching from me that month.
Right. That's pretty intense.
Yep. So I think it was a low-key month for both of us. One thing, we both got to go to our friend Christine's house for a day of stitching, which was a lot of fun.
Lots of fun. She even fed us.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. The dessert was amazing.
Yeah.
And I think we had dessert first.
We did.
Which was even better.
Of course. I mean, doesn't everybody have dessert first?
I don't see why not.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to fill up and then not have room for it.
Exactly.
So that was fun. I got to start a new project there.
Yeah, you did.
Which I will show.
You'll be able to share that later.
I'll be able to share that later. So I don't want to talk too much about that because we don't really have permission to talk too much about her. We don't have permission to give her name, but we give her name anyways because we're that type of friends. But Christine, if you're watching, thank you so much. That was an absolutely amazing day. It was great to just show up, be fed. And I know we do like Panera things, but it was more relaxing being in somebody's house. There wasn't a wait staff looking over our shoulder. When are they going to leave or anything like that?
Right.
So that's about all I did aside from work because
and the only thing
I'm lame. I have no life.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the life of a stitcher, right? We stitch and we work and we're home and we do floss tubes. That's it, in a nutshell. The other thing that that I did, Dawn Marie wasn't able to make it, but she usually does, was on Saturday the 19th of November, we had a gathering at Panera in Westbrook, Maine. And we typically do that every other Saturday, but right now we're taking a little bit of a hiatus because of the holidays, and we'll start that back up in January. But it was a great time. We had quite a few people. I think it was a big crowd. I think there were maybe 11 showed up. So it was a fun time. Got to see everybody before the holidays start, and everyone gets busy.
Yep, I was at work.
Yeah, so you'll make it next year.
Hopefully.
All right. That's your heat that kicked on or something.
It's something, because I'm trying to think if my son's home or not. Okay, so let's get into the stitching.
Let's do it.
All right. Do you have any fully finished objects?
I do not. I have not been fully finishing, but I think you have.
I do have a fully finished object. So,
do tell.
Do tell. And I don't have the pattern with me to show you the cover page, but I don't need the cover page.
No,
because
it's done.
It's done. And there's no, this is what it looked like before, because there's no before. I started this project at Christine's house, and I worked on it. And I worked, how many days did I work on it? I don't think it was too many days. I think it was just 4 days of stitching on it. Yeah. And it became a fully finished object. And it was
staff, right? A start and a finish.
Start and a finish. Who's it from? Plum Street? Cottage.
I think it's...
Hold that thought. Okay. So this was from Plum Street Sampler or Plum Street? Plum Street Sampler. And it's Cardinal Ken. Now, if you look at it, it gives you 2 colorway options.
Oh, it does.
A bright one and a deeper one. So I was making this for Pam at Stitching in the Land of Good Enough for her shop, Stitch New England. And I asked her, and she said she wanted the brighter one. So here it is.
Oh, it's so cute.
All done. Start and finish. Finished in a week.
That is really, really cute.
It's the first time I've ever done a pillow finish. So I did watch Helen D's tutorial on how to do a pillow finish. This is Lady Dots Creates Pom-Poms. I watched Helen D's tutorial on how to do the pom-poms as well. So it's my first time with the pillow finish. I don't know. I feel like I wish I did a little bit more stuffing, but it's really hard to tell.
I think it's great.
You know.
I think it's good. It's not, it's firm.
So
if you overstuff it, the corners start getting kind of wrinkly sometimes.
This is done on 36 count antique ivory Edinburgh linen, which was just some stuff I had in my stash that I ordered way back in the beginning of my cross-stitch career, and then decided I was never, ever, ever going to stitch on linen as long as I live. So this got stashed away, never touched.
And did you stitch that 1 over 2 or 2 over 2? 2 threads or 1 thread?
This is 1 thread.
1 thread.
1 thread over 2.
I love it.
So
it's so cute.
And there it is. So 1 thread over 2, 36 count linen. And then here's my fabric for the back. It's just something I had in my stash. I can't even tell you. I've had this fabric for years.
Yep.
And it was so much fun. So one of the things, I'm a little bit, I'll know to pay attention next time. So this is a combination of DMC and Fancy Floss. And 2 of the Fancy Flosses was the white snow and the black. And I can tell you, and I just ordered based on names. I really didn't even know what colors I was ordering. I was just going down the list. I would have used DMC white and DMC black. It wasn't worth the extra money. You cannot see the variegation in that white.
No,
I don't even
there's
think
not
there's
enough
any.
of it.
So there's not enough of it.
But like the red was really important to have that color.
Important. But I feel like designers really, when they're designing, I know they want to get those floss people out there, but pay attention to the person who's purchasing it. So I spent a lot of money, and I special ordered them because I didn't have them in my stash. So I paid shipping and handling on 2 flosses that I could have just used DMC. And I just know now to look up the colors that I'm ordering.
Definitely.
But, so it is as called for colors, not as called for linen. And then Lady Dot Designs. So,
It's fantastic.
It was fun to stitch, though.
Absolutely fantastic.
And Pam liked it because she liked the fact that it had the female as well as the male birds.
Yes.
You just
And Pam's a birder. She loves bird watching and does backyard birding. So this is perfect for her.
So now I just have to figure out how to get it to her because I'm a little nervous mailing something this time of the year. So
I don't know about what you guys think, but I'm hearing that Dawn Marie wants to go on a road trip.
You know, I got a vacation coming up this
Mhm.
month. So
Yeah.
we'll have to talk about that. All right.
All right.
So that is it for fully finishes.
Any regular finishes?
I do, but why don't you go first?
Okay.
Because you have, I think, more to show than me.
I do. I have a couple finishes. So the first finish is, I said the last video that I was going to get this done.
And what did it look like in the last video?
It looked like this. Did you see how she just cued me on that?
It's like,
last time it looked like this. And now it is fully finished, and it is called Don't Fear the Reaper by Wild Violet Cross Stitch. Oh, maybe we need something for the back.
you know, I meant, oh, wait, hold that thought.
And she said she wasn't going to do any editing today.
Oh, I'm not editing. This is staying in.
Oh, damn it. Here she comes with the board.
The board.
All right.
Like, we're professionals now.
We're professionals. So here it is. Don't Fear the Reaper by Wild Violet Cross Stitch. It is done. And I will get around to fully finishing it someday. Right now, I'm into stitching. I just want to stitch.
That fabric is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is a great fabric. And so this is stitched on 32 count purple hand-dyed linen that I purchased off of a seller on Etsy who is taking a break right now. I don't know if he's going to continue to dye. And it's just 3 colors of DMC, a black, a white, and a gray. Very easy. And I love the Grim Reaper because, you know, I'm fascinated by death. So that was one of my little finishes. What else you got, Dawn Marie?
Well, I have a finish. This is like an
I don't
amazing
know. I don't even know about this. She tells me nothing.
So I was working on the video game sampler. And again, I'm not going to show you the chart because we have it down here. It was, God, I should bring the charts up because I don't remember. Smiling Hearts Design?
Screaming Hearts.
Screaming Hearts Design. From Screaming Hearts Design on Facebook. So you have to go to the Facebook site. You have to do a donation. You have to show her that you did a donation. And then she'll send you the chart. And this is what it looked like last time I had it. It is now a finish. And again, it's a Be Stitch Me fabric. But I can't tell you anything else because every time I say what it is...
You were saying Stonehenge, but you think it's not
Stonehenge. No, I
Stonehenge.
don't think it's Stonehenge. And I think it was a fabric of the month. And then I got rid of the tag because I'm a really bad floss tuber.
Ooh.
This is what it looks like finished. And it's 20 count 1/1. So I'll let you all read it because I am not reading it out loud. Probably should have said disclaimer before I showed it. There are some not nice words in this.
Naughty words.
Naughty words. Naughty words. But if you play video games, you hear these words. So here it is. All done. Ready to be framed. So I'm going to have to put the hunt out for a frame that fits this. I haven't measured it yet.
Yeah, that's a big one.
To see. But I do love the colors.
That's a big one.
It's showing, I think, the colors show a little bit better like this. Up close it looks darker than what it really is. But that's pretty true to color.
It looks great.
So
you got quite a bit done because a lot of stitching was down the bottom on these vases with the...
yeah, this was all pretty much new.
Yeah.
From like here. From the little, well, you'll have seen it before, so you'll know. We don't have to show you what we had done. So
Yeah.
that is my finish.
Wow. I didn't even know about that. She doesn't tell me anything.
Well, she would know about it if I was a better Instagrammer, but I'm horrible at Instagram.
And the next finish I have, I also mentioned on our last floss tube that I was going to really try to get this one done because I had been working on it at the Stitch In at the Farm Retreat. And so this is what it looked like before. I just needed the very bottom border, half of it to be completed. And I did, in fact, complete it.
Look at how stunning it is.
So here it is. It is Seeking Refuge by the Scarlet House. And I stitched it on 40 count needle and flax, dirty teacup linen. And I used all the called for colors as charted. So I'm very pleased with that. And that's not something I would normally stitch, but I was very attracted to it because of the phrase.
Yep.
And it says, when the world seems to be out of control, I find a way to nurture my soul. Seeking refuge with needle and thread, the angst and anxiety no longer I dread. Is that not perfect for most of us?
Exactly. And I'm stitching it too for the same exact reason.
Mhm.
Not my style either, but love the saying on it.
Yep, definitely. You have any other finishes?
I do not.
All right.
2 finishes in one go for me. That's pretty amazing.
I have just one more, which was another pattern that I worked on at the Stitch In at the Farm.
This was a fan favorite.
Yes, this was getting a lot of attention, and it is completed. This is what it looked like before.
Look, she's learning.
And here it is. I think this is more the color back here. So this is a Raven Treasure. It's an Etsy pattern by Witch Wolf Web Creations. It's meant to be full coverage with a solid blue background, which I was not going to stitch. Instead, I found a fabric that I really liked and let the fabric do the work. And so I only had to stitch the raven and those ferns and that branch that he sits on. It's stitched on 40 count dusk by Fiber on a Whim. And the flosses are all DMC with one anchor, which I did get because I was curious to use it and I did enjoy it. And so that is complete. This pattern is, or I should say this designer is not a popular designer, but she's got some interesting designs, and I think she has about 40 different ones now. Witch Wolf Web Creations on Etsy. They don't work very well with Pattern Keeper, at least that was my experience with this one, but if you're willing to be patient, you can get some fantastic results, as you can see with that one. She has a couple others that, one that I've purchased that I'm going to be working on next year, and a couple others that I have my eye on. So that is it for finishes.
Is he the one that you're going to be working on next year?
It's that one that it's going to be all monochromatic. It's kind of long and skinny, and it says metal knot in the affairs of dragons.
Yep. I know exactly what
For
you're
thou
talking about.
art crunchy and tastes good with ketchup. That's what it says. So I'll be working on that next year. But that's it for finishes.
All right. So, whips.
You want to do you have new starts? Or do we do
that's
that?
right. No, I don't have any new stats. See, she caught me.
Okay,
Do
I
you
have
have a
just
new
one.
start?
I do have just one. So Christine and I, our friend Christine and I, decided that we
That's right.
were going to do 12 new starts next year. And I agreed to this back in, I think, September, and it sounded like a good idea. And then the anxiety kicked in because I'm trying to reduce my whip count. And I said, oh my gosh, 12 additional whips? No, I can't do it. So I figured a way around it. So I said to Christine, could we start a pattern that has like 12 parts? And then we could do one part of that pattern each month next year, so that actually, in actuality, it's only one whip on my whip count, which was a good compromise.
One big whip.
Right. And then she ended up liking it, so she's stitching it as well. And I think, in fact, she's far along because there are 12 blocks. It is Autumn at Hawthorne Hollow. There are 12 blocks, and of course, this is going to open now, right? No. Oh my heavens. Oh, is it because I'm not on what? I don't need to be on Wi-Fi, do I?
I don't know. Technical difficulties.
Pause, please.
Are you just under your photos?
There we go. Just wasn't cooperating. So this is Autumn Ed Hawk Run Hollow. Most of you are familiar with that. I am stitching this very top border so that then I can work on 12 blocks, 1 block each month next year. And I started. In fact, I started on Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. She does a Zoom call for any Hawk Run Hollow pattern, and I started the last Zoom call, and this is how much I got done, and I hate it. I hate it because it is on 25 count pearl linen in the color soft mocha, and I'm stitching it 1 over 1. No, don't like it. I don't like how this fabric feels. It's kind of rough, like almost like, I don't know, like canvasy. And there's kind of like these little hairy slubs all over it. No. So I'm restarting it. And I'm going to restart it on 40 count Cafe au Lait by Zweigart. So stay tuned. Start, restart next time.
All right.
That's it.
Which reminded me, which is why I just tiptoed away. I'm like, oh, that's right. We did the Hawk Run Hollow Zoom. And I did some work on my Hawk Run Hollow as well. I think I took a before picture. I'm not sure because it's been so long since I worked on mine. Now I'm working on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. So this is what I'm working on.
Love that one. I'll want to do that one too eventually someday.
And I'm stitching mine on the sticker that I put inside my box. The color is Mushroom, and it's a 20 count Lugana. And I have to tell you, when I pulled it out to work on it, now that I've been working on some of the smaller fabrics, it looked like 14 count.
It seemed big.
It seemed really big after. So if I have a before picture, I'll show you the before picture, but it's pretty easy to show you what I've done since the last time you've seen it. And that is this black box right here and this little bit down here. So this got pushed aside. This isn't actually done. I need to do a little spider over there, but I don't know why. I get to a spider and I'm like, I'll come back to it. So that's what I did. That and that. And then my needle minder just says, rest in peace, no needle, no thread, I'm dead. So there is my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow on 20 count. And is it just really big 20 count?
It's kind of big 20 count.
Isn't it? I think maybe because it's not hand dyed.
That's
we use a lot of hand dye, and when you hand dye it,
it shrinks a little bit.
It shrinks a little bit. So I think I'm used to my 20 count probably being more 21, 22
right.
count.
So that looks to me more like a 16 count because it hasn't shrunk.
Right. So I pulled it out and I was like, should I restart it?
No, I don't think you should.
She's already talked me out of restarting something else that I pulled out that I think was on 16 count. And I was like, oh, I want to restart it. She's like, no, you have too much done. So I'll go with it. It's not worth restarting because I did this project. Pam talked me into doing this project so I could do her Zooms. And it wasn't necessarily because I was passionate about doing this project. It's not really my style, but I'll continue on with it. I have fun doing it because I'm doing it with everybody.
Right.
But, so that's what I got done on my portion of the Hawk Run Hollow.
Awesome. All right. You want to do Dark Queen next?
Absolutely. That's because she wants to brag.
Why?
You finished your section.
I did. I did.
All right. So next is Dark Queen of the Earth, which is a stitch along from Autumn Lane Stitchery. And they release one pot a month. And the pots have been getting bigger and bigger. So this last pot is 3,600 stitches.
That, yeah, 3688.
Yeah.
Don't be skimping out there on that 88.
And so this is what it's going to look like for this part. So the new part is right here.
Yeah, so we're starting to get some action outside of the actual character, some of the background.
And it's beautiful. The section is beautiful, but
it's a lot. It was a lot. It took me several days.
It's a lot, and I
would work.
I work 45 hours a week.
Sure.
We're back to going to the gym. So, and we're playing D&D now as a family, so we're having game night. So that's definitely cuts into the stitching time. Plus, I have a goal that I want to meet on another project. But I started working on this on the 1st, and I've been not monogamous. I haven't touched anything else. But at 3,800 stitches, I'm getting 200, 300 stitches a night in. So
yeah, it's a lot. And it's dense. It's dense.
Yeah, but it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
So this is where I was the last time. And this is what it looks like now with part 4 completed.
It's stunning.
And I myself want to try to keep up because I know if I get behind, it's going to be bad news. So that's where I'm at with that one. And that is on 28 count. I guess I should hold it up for a little longer. 28 count Nightshade Linen, which was one of the choices by Under the Sea Fabrics that was made specifically for this mystery sale. And the mystery sale is by Autumn Lane Stitchery, if we haven't mentioned that. All right, take it away, Dawn Marie.
So I'm doing mine on a different colored fabric, which was also made for it. I'm doing it on Gilded Oak, and I'm doing mine on 32 count even weave. You did linen, I did even weave.
Yeah.
I'm bad. I'm keeping mine in the hoop because I'm still working on mine. So,
yeah.
However, this is what it looked like last time, and this is where I am at now.
Yeah, it looks really good on that fabric.
So do you want to just hold yours up just so you can see the difference in the two colored fabrics? So this is the difference between the green and the Gilded Oak. So
I like them both.
Yeah.
It was hard to choose. If I was insane, I would have stitched them on both. But I'm not that crazy.
You would not have kept up.
No, I wouldn't have.
So it's funny. We did not pick different ones because we wanted different ones. We just both picked different ones because our tastes happen to be different.
Right.
It's not like we're all playing Pokemon in this house right now, the new Pokemon. And I'm playing Pokemon Violet, and my husband's playing Pokemon Scarlet. And he didn't have a choice. He had to play Scarlet because I was playing Violet. So.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Got to get organized here.
As big as the sections are, this is a very, very enjoyable stitch.
Yes.
Erin does a really good job at having enough colors to make it appealing, but at the same time, enough blocking that you don't feel like you're in confetti hell.
Right.
So I've really, really enjoyed stitching on it, but my goal is every month I stitch on this till it's done, and then I move on to my next projects.
Yeah, I do that too. I try to get it out of the way because I know, well, I say that, but last month I was right under the wire.
Yes, you are. But you were working on Seeking Refuge last month.
Right. Last month I was trying to focus on finishing Seeking Refuge. And I had, in my Halloween cross-stitch challenge group on Facebook, I had the Nevermore November, and that's why I finished that Raven. So those were my focuses. Trying to have a couple of focus projects every month.
Yeah.
So what else you got?
For
whips.
How many whips do you have?
I have 5.
All right, why don't you go again?
Okay. I'll do this quick one, which I didn't get too much done, but I feel an obligation to show it because I did work a little bit on it. It is Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. This is where I was the last time that I showed it. It's being stitched on 40 count Water Lily by Witchelt.
And do you have a picture of what it's going to look like when it's done?
I do have a picture of what it's going to look like when it's done. And it is right here. Dawn Marie keeps me abreast of all these as I'm falling over. Watch out, guys. I'm coming into your house.
Well, because I'm the one who's going to do the editing if you don't show that picture.
So here's the Plum Street Samplers. That's what it will look like when it's finished.
And then this is what it looked like last time.
This is what it looked like last time. And this is what it looks like now. Some kind of fuzz on it. So not too much done, basically, I worked on these 4 stars right here on Thanksgiving Day at my in-laws, because this was a small project that I could take with me. And that's it.
It's very pretty. This is on my wish list to do.
Yeah, this is an informal stitch, or I should call it a start along in my Halloween cross stitch group, because the Halloween cross stitch group encompasses a lot of themes, not just Halloween. Fall and autumn, which this kind of is one of the themes. And so we're working on it until the end of the year. I don't think I will get it done by the end of this year, but I'll just keep working on it.
My friend Melissa, who I met through quilting, decided she was going to give cross stitch a try. So we started her off big. She picked that because I think the quilter in her loved it.
Mm-hmm.
She loves, I think it's the Ohio Star.
Yes.
And I think she did it straight linen, 1/2 or 2/2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was go big or go home for
Yeah.
her. We didn't start her off with Ada and some nice easy project, and it came out gorgeous. She did a phenomenal job on it. So, okay, so I worked on my golf project.
I haven't seen this in a while.
And this is going to be my focus on a finish next year. So we can talk about some plans, I think, at the end.
Sure.
But including in those plans is this is going to be, I do this every time. This is going to be finished next year.
I think that's doable.
I do.
It's beautiful.
So this is Dreams of the Greens, and it's adapted from artwork by Mark Keithley, and it was charted by Odyssey Cross Stitch. If I turn it slowly, maybe it won't disappear. So this is what I'm working on for my husband.
The colors. There's such a great contrast between those pinks and that green.
So, and it's adapted from, I guess, the 18th hole. Oh, I'm going to be wrong. My husband knows all this. It's very similar to a famous hole in Augusta from a famous golf course. So it's not the exact one because
Augusta, Maine?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is what it looked like last time. And I am doing it on 25 count easy grid.
Mm-hmm.
I did, since you've seen it last, 6,413 stitches.
Wow.
And
You are not messing around.
I am at 63.01% complete.
Girl,
I
you
have
are.
changed my stitching style on this. I have somewhat adapted to Royal Rose.
Okay.
So actually what I'm going to show for pictures is I'm going to show what it looked like last time.
Okay.
Then I took a picture of when I took it off the Q-snap.
Okay.
So you'll see it off the Q-snap because now I have it back on the Q-snap and this is not coming off the Q-snap until it's done.
Right.
And this is where I'm at. Do you want to hand me the?
Yes.
And this is where I am at now. So I finished up a corner over here and got all this done
That
up
top
here
corner is very
and
different.
started. Yes.
Very different than the rest of it.
So,
Awesome.
So I say adapted from Royal Rose because I'm somewhat doing the Royal Rose method in that I'm doing the 10 by 20 and I'm pocking down below like she does. But she has you pocking down below and then doing like a waist over here.
Okay, like an end, like
Right.
finish.
But the waist things were getting in the way of the pocking threads. So what I'm doing is, and I saw Darren from Dizzy Stitcher do it, is I'm just doing a pin stitch stop. So I'm pocking below, but I'm doing a pin stitch stop over to the right so that there's no waist threads. They're completely done, out of my way, and I don't have to worry about it. And I have been flying way faster doing this method. So I've really been enjoying it. So this is where I'm at.
Holy cow, 6,000 stitches.
6,413 stitches.
Listen, you get every stitch in there. 6,413. She's rocking it.
Yes, and it's been so much fun. And it is a different, if you look at the picture. many times do we do that?
Oh yeah, because of that, the sun is coming in on that part of the picture, so there's a lot of lighter colors there. Yeah, show it one more time.
I think I had hit the mock-up instead. So if you look at it, it's great how that's a little bit, the sun's shining through the trees versus that darker section over there.
Oh, it's so cool.
So I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Mm-hmm. He's going to love it.
And as soon as I'm done with Dark Queen of the Earth, I'll get back to working on that again.
All right. And my next one is Contessa with Squid. And this is charted by Haid. Artwork by Omar Ryan. And I'm plugging away at it. It's on 25 count easy grid. Both of my Haids right now are both on 25 count easy grid 1/2. What the hell am I doing? 1/1. 1/1. 25 count easy grid 1/1. And Contessa with Squid. This is what she looks like. And this is what she looked like the last time. The last time I was at 20,000 stitches. And this time I did 5,000 stitches. So I'm at 25,000,
wow.
6.8%. And that's where I'm at. I'm working those tentacles. And the tentacles are about 2/3, or I shouldn't say 2/3, 1/3 of this picture. So I'll be on tentacles for quite some time. But that's where I'm at right now. And I'm loving her. All right.
Let me see. So I've talked a lot about Lisa, Crossed by Floss. And she also does a Mirror Monday, where she stitches on a Mirabilia on Mondays.
Okay.
So I had a Monday come up that I finished the cardinal pins. I put quite a bit into my golf, and I was just itching to do something a little bit different. So I'm like, well, it's Monday. I will do Mirror Monday.
Mirror Monday.
And I pulled out my Princess Eliana that I had worked on. I showed last month. I'd worked on it at the retreat.
She's beautiful.
She is beautiful. So that's my Princess Eliana. And I am doing it on the color Lavender. You know, and I had it. Where did I have? Oh, I had it on my, so the color is just called Lavender on it. I move the tag on that fabric all the time, and sometimes I know what it is, sometimes I don't. And this is being stitched on, I believe, 32 count. 2/2. There we go. This is where I have it. Don't ask me why that's in there. So there we go. It's a Zygot Lugana 32 count lavender. That's all it says on it.
Okay.
And this is what it looked like last time you saw it.
Ooh.
And I didn't get a lot done because I only worked on it, I think, I worked on it Monday and then a little bit of Tuesday because you know me, I don't like to do a little bit here, a little bit there. When I stitch on something, I like to...
You focus a couple days.
So, ooh. I believe, do we have... There we go. So I worked on right down here is where I think I did most of it. And if I pull it back, I want to... This is not what the fabric looks like at all.
Not at all. So that looks great.
You're going to have to sit way back or you're going to get a black eye. Because I want to... Yep.
That's what it is.
There is what the actual color of the fabric is.
Yep. Beautiful.
So got some stitches in on that. I'm trying to just get a little bit of headway on this before Fancy Lady February.
Sure.
Because I have this. I have Bellatrix. So I don't want to...
She's gorgeous, and you're beading as you go.
Beading as I go. I didn't bead this last time,
Mm-hmm.
but I am trying to bead as I go.
Beautiful.
And I don't think she was on the squirrel rods last time you all saw it. It was still on a Q
Yeah,
snap.
she was, because you had her stitching at the farm.
Yep. So that's Princess Eliana. I'm really enjoying it. It's funny, though, because one of the things Lisa had said when she was talking about Mirabilias is she's like, they look so intimidating. She goes, but there's so much block stitching because of the dress.
Yes.
That is not the case with Princess Eliana.
Princess Eliana's tough.
It's got a lot of confetti in that dress. It's definitely not block stitching.
Her dress is intense.
So, but
I
having a
love
lot
her.
of fun with this. I started this last year at the retreat because, I mean, that's what you do, right? You start a Mirabilia at a retreat.
Yeah.
I know somebody silly, I think, mentioned that you do easy stitching at a retreat, fill in or something like that. Who does that?
Yeah.
So I will bring this every year to the retreat until it's done. But I'm actually kind of hoping that maybe it's done before the retreat.
I think you could do it.
Next year.
Definitely
Well, there's
think you could
still,
do it.
I mean, this dress is probably going to come all the way out to here.
Oh yeah, she's
So she's not even close to being done.
She's big.
But it's fun. It's fun to do something different. I work on this for a little bit, and it reminds me how easy a full coverage is to do.
Right.
You know, all these people who are so scared
Good
of full
point.
coverage. I actually have to take a break and go to a full coverage because I need to stop thinking, because there's a lot of thinking involved in something like this. But it was fun. Oh, and speaking of the color, we're going to be trying something different. Our next, not our whip parade, but our next video after that. But because we're filming a whip parade after this, I didn't want to fool around with the camera and lose footage. But I think I figured out a way to use the other side of my camera, which is the better lens. Because right now we use the selfie side, which is a very basic lens. But hopefully if we use the other side, we don't have to keep going, this is the color. No, this is the color.
Okay.
So we're going to attempt that.
I'll let her
I say
deal with
we're
that
going to attempt
technical
that. I'm going to
aspect of all
attempt
this.
that. So that is my Princess Eliana.
She's awesome. All right. The next one I worked on was Dragon's Fire. And Dragon's Fire is one that Dawn Marie and I are working on together. We started it this year. We kitted it up for Dawn Marie's birthday in April, and we started it for my birthday in May, and we're both working on it together. And the goal is to do 800 stitches every month is the assignment. I've been able to do more than that because I'm home. So, and I just can't. If I could just work on one thing, it would be this. I'm addicted. I don't know why. I'm loving it. So, Dragon's Fire looks like this. And I am dying to get to that dragon. It's not going to happen until next year sometime. But
I mean, but we're in December. So next year's not that far away.
Right. Well.
Oh, have we mentioned that? It is December something.
December 7th.
It's December 7th, 2022.
Yes. So Dragon's Fire, the last time looked like this. I was at 20,000 stitches. And this time I did 10,000 stitches.
Holy crap.
And I'm at 30,000. I'm at 8.7. I want to see 10%. I'm like obsessed. And so this is where
I should
I'm at.
never let her show hers before I show mine.
So it's not that exciting. It's just a lot of bluish black sky.
So mine's really going to be boring.
So, and it's funny because you see these like 3 dots right there. At first I was like, is that a mistake? Nope, that's in there. It's these little stars are starting to show up in the sky because there's a moon in there that's going to be coming up soon. So I say soon, like, 80,000 stitches from now, there might be a moon. So that's where I'm at with that one. And I'm just loving that one.
All right. And the last thing I worked on was my Dragon's Fire. And I was excited about my progress until now. I got
You should be excited about your progress.
1,662 stitches in, so a little bit more than our
A little bit more
800.
double.
And I'm at 2.94% complete.
Yep.
For a total of 10,146 stitches.
Nice.
And I think mine's on 28 count fabric though, so mine will look a little bit smaller.
Yes.
When it's done. And I'll show a picture of what it looked like before. And
well, it looks good.
I apologize for all the noise my chair makes. I need to WD-40 it or something. And this is, do you have the board?
Yes.
This is where I am at.
Looking good.
So you can see where I've started converting these up to Royal Rose. You can see where I did the waist things over there that I'm not doing down here. And that is where I'm at.
Have you converted everything to all of your full coverages to Royal Rose now?
Well, I've just started doing it, and I've only worked on 2 full coverages.
Okay.
So. But I probably will. I'm really enjoying
You
that.
like that? Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to go across the entire piece like she does. I will go across like a page or a section because I think I would get too bored.
Gotcha.
If I went through an entire piece. I would want to just move on down a little bit.
Gotcha.
So that is where I'm at on that. Why don't you pull yours out?
You want me to pull this out again?
Yeah. We're going to do our screen grab. Don't mind us while we stand really still. Yeah, we sit really still. Down, smile. Do you notice when I smile, I do this?
No, well, I have a crooked smile, so it's all good.
There we go.
All right.
Did y'all enjoy that? Now you'll get to see the making of the screen grab.
Right?
And that's actually all I worked on.
That's it for you?
That's it for me.
I have just 2 more. And the reason why I worked on these 2, I had not worked on these in a very long time, since I want to say summer. And these have never been shown on the channel before, so I don't have befores to show you. But they are my 2 focus pieces for this month. So this month on my Halloween cross stitch Facebook group, the challenge is Spooky and Fright or Merry and Bright. So you can choose to do a Halloweenish project or a Christmas winter project. Or if you're crazy and you want to qualify for both of the giveaways, which are 2 project bags with patterns, you can do both. So of course, I got to head the charge. I got to lead the mission. Right. So I'm doing both.
You have the pattern?
I do have the pattern. Thank you, Dawn Marie.
Some people are untrainable.
I know. That's me. I need the shock collar to be trained.
And she starts to lift something.
Right? This is Farmhouse Christmas by Little House Needleworks. They are a set of 9 different patterns. And Farmhouse Christmas has, or I should say, Little House Needleworks provides a free border on their website that you could use the border and stitch them all together as one piece, and that's what I've chosen to do. And this is what it will look like. So the last time I had touched it, I had completed 4 blocks and some of the top border. Since the last time, I have completed all of the border and I have done 1 additional block.
That is gorgeous.
So this is on my scroll frame, so you can't see the whole thing towards the bottom, but this border is all the way done, and I've even framed in the last 3 boxes below, and this is the latest box that I have completed. So I'm ready to move on to box number 6, which I actually want to finish by the end of this week, because after that, there's only 3 weeks left to the challenge, and I have 3 boxes left. So my goal is 1 square a week, and hopefully I will get it complete. And I'm loving it. And looky here, you see this little needle minder? I don't have a lot of needle minders. The needle minders I have always been gifted to me. I've never actually purchased a needle minder. And that one there is from Lauren at Stitches and Sundries. She's a good friend in my Facebook group, but she's also a Flosstuber. So check her out, Lauren at Stitches and Sundries. She gifted me that needle minder last year for Christmas, and I love it. So that's that piece, Farmhouse Christmas by Little House Needleworks. And then the very last one that I have is my second focus piece. So this is my Spooky and Fright. And this is a freebie pattern but it's an enormous freebie pattern.
It's an enormous one. Yes.
It is by Doreen Jones, It's from 2018, and it is a freebie pattern.
Is it still free?
It is.
Wow.
Yep, she's kept it free. You can get it on Dropbox. If you search Doreen Jones, D-U-R-E-N-E, Jones, Happy Halloween 2018 Dropbox, it will come right up. And it's, I am stitching it on 28 count blue hand dye fabric to mimic the model. What are those words that I have there? I got, the screenshot I took has some words down the bottom. Ignore those words. But this is the gist of it. That's what it looks like. And so I hand dyed some beige fabric that I had to create a similar effect.
It is gorgeous.
And it's big. It's 195 wide by 139 high, 28 count, DMC. And this is where I'm at. Thank you, Dawn Marie. Yep. So when I picked it up the last time, I had the very top done, and I think these 4 letters up to L. So since I picked it up, I started in December. I stitched the rest of the letters. So the Oween and this pumpkin down here, and I have the rest of the pumpkins left, and I've got them divided up over the last 3 weeks, next 3 weeks, so that I can finish this by the end of the month. So I hope to get those 2 done. I gotta finish some of these whips, because then it would justify new starts.
Right?
That's my entire evil plan, is to finish stuff so I can start more stuff. It's just a cycle. It's like a circle. I never get out of it. I'm like that hamster on the wheel. But I'm having a great time. So that's it for me, girl.
All right.
That wraps it up.
So have you been thinking about your plans for next year?
Yes, I have. Have you?
I have.
Or are you just going to go by the seat of your pants?
No, I'm still going to stick with my trying for no new starts.
Okay.
Except for my Fancy Lady February.
Gotcha.
However, the no new starts will be a little bit loose in interpretation because I'm not going to limit myself. But if I finish something, I can start something. As you know, if I finish the golf one, I have another pattern already lined up to take its place.
Yep.
And so far, I don't think I'm going to have a problem with it next year because I haven't had the drive to start anything new. And if I do have the drive to start something new, it's been a small. And
so you get some instant gratification.
Instant gratification, where I'm really not into smalls. I realize my friends are, so.
So that's perfect.
So I'm thinking pretty much no new starts for next year because I've got some goals for next year that I want to work on, and it doesn't really leave room for many other projects. We both belong to Full Coverage Fanatics.
Yes.
And I signed up for 3 of the challenges. I signed up for the Focus on a Finish, which is going to be my golf one.
Yep.
So that'll be a Focus on a Finish. What I want to do is an entire row every month. And if I can do that,
it'll get you there.
It should get me there by potentially August.
Ooh.
Depending on how much I get done in December, maybe even sooner. Because his birthday is in August, so I'd like to have it finished for his birthday.
Okay.
Then I signed up for Big or Little, which means work on your biggest project or your littlest project. And I'm going with my biggest project, which is my supersized max colored Magic Study, the rainbow version from Rose Cat
Con.
Rose, yeah. Is it Rose Cat Con or Cat Rose? It's Rose Cat Con. She uses her middle name, so I throw that in there. So that'll be my Big or Little. There's no counts on that. I think it's just you got to touch it. So I'm going to want to touch that every single month. And then there was By the Numbers.
Okay.
And I think that was, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you're on the thing. It was 500, 1,000, or 2,000, something like that.
It was also 5,000.
And 5,000. So I set myself up in the 1,000.
So you could select your number of stitches you want to complete every month.
Yeah. And I picked 1,000, and I'm going to do Dragonspire.
For that. That's perfect.
Because our goal is 800. I'll up it for the year to 1,000. And then if I get more, I get more, but I don't want to get less. Because I only have until she's done, and then my motivation's gone. So
yeah.
I think she'll be done by next year on hers.
I don't know. I want to focus on Contessa because that's my older of the 2 whips.
Yeah. So between that, I have Fancy Lady February, and I do have my New Year, New Start, which is 12-sided dice, vary from Beckett.
Jasmine Beckett Griffith.
She has my back on that one. So I definitely want to start that.
I'm good with the names and the dates. She's good with the technology. We're a good team.
So I'm not ruling out any littles that I know I can finish right away. But other than that, if I finish something, I could start something. If like I get the drive to start something, I'll start it. But right now my goal is to try not to. And it's not because I'm worried about my whip counts. I don't have a stress on my whip counts. I just found that I want to work on my whips and I don't want to start anything new because I love the whips that I have.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a whip parade after this.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see a bunch of whips you haven't seen. And if you're new, you've never seen them. And I think some of them are going to turn into UFOs. But I do kind of want to rotate some of those out and have them a little bit more active. But to be perfectly honest, that full coverage Fanatics, along with Dark Queen of the Earth, where I work, is going to take up a good chunk of the month.
Absolutely.
There may not be many days at the end to work on something different.
Right.
So I've got Anna here to keep my channel from getting boring.
No problem there.
So what do you have for plans for next year? Are you willing to share?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't made extremely definitive plans as to, like, I don't know what I'm doing beyond pretty much March, let's say. So I'm sort of just outlining some things. But in a general concept, I really want to reduce my whip count. I know everybody has a different level of comfortability. My sweet spot is like 10 to 13. I was at 19 whips. I say was because in preparation for the whip parade, I went through my pile of UFOs. There were 4 things in there. One of them I decided to abandon, like
UFO.
I decided to completely UFO. The other 3 I kept. I still want to finish them. They're barely started, but I do like them and I want to finish them. So I've actually incorporated them back into my whip parade because I have been having some finishes. So that leaves me at a whip count of actually 22.
I have no idea how many whips I have.
Which I know some of you are like, oh my God, 22? She's crazy. And then others of you are like, 22? Psh, she's like a baby junior,
Have
whipper.
you watched Fiber Arts Amy's Mirabilia whip parade? That's just her Mirabilias, and she just released another one.
Yep.
So she's at 4 videos that are all about an hour, hour and a half long.
Yeah, she's got a lot.
And that's just her Mirabilia.
But she's okay with that.
But she's okay with it. So your 22 is nothing. And not only does she have all those Mirabilias, I think every other one she said, oh, and I'm stitching this one twice.
Okay.
I think half of those she plans on stitching twice.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, 10 is really good. 13 is kind of pushing it, but I like to have a couple of extra ones. But the reason why 10 to 13 is my sweet spot is because I'd like to touch every whip every month, even if it's like 2 days. So if I have, 13 whips, if I were at my max, that means I can touch them twice in the month or 2 days in the month. Because I do kind of like you. When I sit to stitch, I do 1 or 2 days or 3 days, and I like to focus.
Yeah, I do like a week.
Okay, yeah. And I like to focus and get a good amount done before I put it away and switch it out to something else. But right now, I have whips that I haven't touched in a really long time. So that's my whole reason for this. My husband calls it the Whip Reduction Act. He's made it sound like a government, a government agenda. But yes, my Whip Reduction Act. So really, in my head, I sort of have this idea that with every 2 pieces that I finish for next year, then I can allow myself a new start.
Okay.
So
you all heard it here.
Yeah. So that will still reduce my whips, but also infuse some newness that I need to keep myself motivated. So that's pretty much sort of my idea. I do have a couple things that I know I am definitely starting for next year because I launched 6 new challenges yesterday in my Halloween cross-stitch challenge group. 3 of them are yearly challenges, and the other 3 were the monthly challenge for January, February, and March. I always like to participate with the group because I find that it motivates them and it gives them inspiration. So I'll be participating in those. But what's great about the challenges in my group is they can be whips or new starts. And a lot of them I'm going to incorporate the use of my current whips. But 2 of them I know for sure are new. So I am starting for January. I'm running January Jack Sale. This is kind of like the little ad for it. And you can stitch any pattern, whip or new start, that has jack-o'-lanterns, pumpkins, or pumpkin heads. And my new start for that, because I should be done with this Doreen Jones pattern by the end of the month. My new pattern is another Doreen Jones.
Oh, that's cute.
Because I have a lot of her patterns. I really like them. She's kind of Halloween cute. I also like Halloween weird and creepy and spooky, but I like it all. So this is going to be my pattern for that challenge for January. Now, I won't get that finished in January, obviously. It's quite big. So this is a pattern that will continue on with other challenges for other months. So I know I have that one. And then one of the yearly challenges I'm doing is called I'm trying to incorporate some non-Halloween things, just like this month we did the Spooky and Fright or Merry and Bright, to keep the stitchers who don't stitch Halloween all year round, to still keep them involved in the group. So a yearly challenge I created for next year is 2023 Year of the Rabbit Sal. This is the little ad for it. And basically you could stitch any rabbit pattern. And the one that I am going to be stitching is a Haid. And I am starting it on January 1st, even though Chinese New Year is January 22nd. But I'm going to need more than the full year to accomplish it. But I love it. And it's a smaller Haid, but it's called Moon Gazing Hair. Moon Gazing Hair by Lisa Parker. So those are 2 things I have slotted for January. And then February will be my Fancy Lady February. And, you know, in my group, I have a challenge that's a fantasy, fairy tale fantasy challenge for February, but I can utilize some of my current whips, like my dragon is considered fantasy, so things like that. But those are the 2 new starts that you'll see upcoming, and, you know, we'll just kind of go from there.
Did you sign up for any of the full coverage fanatics?
I'm going to. I'm going to sign up for the 3 that you have done, utilizing Contessa with Squid, Dragon's Fire, and maybe this new rabbit one. So
yeah, that could actually be your bigger little. That rabbit
that could.
Is a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you? Does anyone have any plans for next year?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear. I love hearing about what everybody else does. It also motivates me.
Definitely.
Comes up with great ideas. Or you just kind of go with it. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. Or are you write down some plans and that's what you're going with? Love to hear below.
Definitely.
If there's like anything that you're doing. I know I tossed around Whip Go in my mind. I love the
I've never done Whip Go.
I love the concept of Whip Go. Love it, love it. But I never follow through on it. I make it through the first or second. Has anybody done Whip Go? So for those of you who don't know what Whip Go is, it's from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And it's kind of like you set up a bingo board. And you put your plans in. And then she pulls 2 numbers every month. And those 2 numbers, whatever coincides with your Whip Go board, is what you work on it. I know in the beginning, people were putting this whip or that whip. But now people are doing something like work on something with a rabbit in it.
Right.
Work on the color red.
Or they're even
work
doing
on a whip
a number
you started
of stitches.
last year. Well, they used to do the number of stitches.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying people have gotten out of that specific, and they've given themselves more of a leeway. Work on something out of a magazine.
Okay, I understand.
So things like that. So I'm still thinking about, after I go through the whip parade, I think maybe I might put some of those things into a Whip Go board, because I really do love the idea of a Whip Go board, but not do number of stitches, because I think that's what got me the last time.
Okay.
And maybe it's just I have to touch it. All right, she called this, I have to touch it. If I get 10 stitches in and I'm not feeling it, I put it away. Or maybe I end up working on it for 2 or 3 days. So I might, but I'm going to go through the Whip Go board first, because I actually don't have, it looks like I have a lot of whips, but some of them are going to probably be UFOs.
Okay.
And last year I actually couldn't even fill a Whip Go board. I had to put a lot of things on there twice.
Oh, all right.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
See.
But yeah, definitely definitely let us know your plans. And if you're participating in any kind of challenge, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, let us know. And because I'm always up for challenges.
As long as they're not starting 12 new projects in 1 year.
Yeah, that's why I always incorporate in my group the whips, because that's a lot of people want to work on their whips right now.
And I've seen some challenges too that you can use your whip as long as your whip is only 10% complete, 15% complete, so that it's not like 2 days away from being a finish.
Sure.
And that's more if there's like prizes and stuff in the end, because then that's not fair for somebody who's stitching their butt off and somebody else does 1 day.
Right.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah, and the way that I work against someone being able to do that in my challenges is to qualify for the giveaway, you have to have a progress update every week. So if you pick a whip for the month and you finish it the first week because you only had a tiny bit left, you now don't have an update for the next few weeks, so you wouldn't qualify for the giveaway. But the giveaways are really nice. I mean, I'm stitching project bags most of the time, or floss buddies. You know, that's, you know, my own funds that I do that with, and then shipping costs. So the prizes are really nice. So I try to keep it fair so that no one feels like they've been jaded. But we have a lot of fun. We've never had issues in the group. You know, no drama. And I'm a no drama llama mama. And we have a good time. So that's pretty much it.
Do you have any haul?
Girl, last time we hauled, like, serious haul. So no, I've been absolutely good. I have not bought a single thing. You have.
I have. Well.
Oh, you have your club.
I have my clubs. So
Let's
I haven't
see it.
bought anything. Well, I bought a couple of things that I'm not going to show because they're Fancy Lady February.
Right.
And so you just have to wait till February to
see. She even makes me wait. I know nothing until I show up here to film.
I sent you the picture. So my husband was impressed because I was choosing between two. And I said, which one? And he picked one. I said, okay. And I put the other one down. He goes, you're going to do it? I go, that's the one you picked. He goes, but you're going to do it? I'm like, I wouldn't have asked you.
Right.
Like, I don't like when somebody says, which one? Or give me some advice and then doesn't take it.
Right.
Like, you don't have to take my advice, but don't ask me for my advice. Like, if I give unsolicited advice, okay.
Right.
But if you ask me which one and I say that one and you go, oh, no, I'd rather do that.
Then
don't
why
ask.
did you ask?
Why did you ask? So he picked one. That's the one I'm going with.
Okay.
So again, Heather, this is where you should probably look away if you're watching.
Right. Yes, Heather from Charm City Stitcher.
Yep.
If you don't want to be enabled,
and if you
avert your eyes.
And if you have earbuds in, take them out because there's going to be some crinkling. So there has been some changes to my fabric of the month.
Ooh.
One is a new addition.
Ooh.
Because of, how am I drawing a blank?
Because of Hannah.
Hannah, you know what it is? She hasn't put up a video. I don't think she's put up a video.
Hannah Dowling is another one.
Right. And I don't think she's put up a video in a couple of... Hannah, where are you?
Yeah.
Have I missed a video?
I don't know.
Or has she skipped a couple of weeks on us?
She may have. I'm a little bit behind.
I'm a little behind because of all the Flossmasses.
Okay.
But I really don't think I've seen a video from Hannah in a couple of weeks. Hannah, I need your videos. You're on my regular watch list. But anyways, so thanks to her, I now have a subscription to Grace Knows Fabrics. And this is the November Fabric of the Month Club because it came after we videoed.
So pretty.
I get a fat half of 32 count linen. And this is called Sonatina?
I would say that's correct.
And this is what it looks like. Let's see if the color comes out accurate.
Back there it was looking pretty good.
But yeah.
Ooh.
It is.
It's like a dusty purple.
Yeah, it is good. I think that's pretty close. If you look at the screen. Now if I go up close, it's going to blow it out.
Yeah.
If it's way too bright.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think that's about right.
That is a color for you.
I know. Right? The first month is going to be purple. So.
Dawn Marie loves purple.
I do love purple.
That's really pretty. Mm-hmm.
So, and again, I'm going with 32 count because I am loving the 2 over 2.
Oh, Dawn Marie gets a fat half because she can keep one half for herself and the other half for her bestie in case her bestie just loves it and has to have it.
Have I mentioned how much I love being my own best friend? But look.
I know. You're
No,
matching. You're all
I'm
coordinated.
horrible. I get a fat half because I don't want to use it. Or
I
cut
know.
into
Like
it.
that way, if
So,
you cut into it, you don't feel bad. You still have some.
Because how many times have you started something?
I know.
And then it becomes a UFO, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I wasted that fabric.
I know.
Although, I have to say, any UFOs I'm going to show are UFOs because it was when I first started cross-stitching.
Mm-hmm.
So really wasn't into Flosstube. Didn't know a lot of places to get things, and didn't know about heaven and earth design. So my tastes have evolved and changed.
Yes.
So
yes. And that's another reason why in my mind I don't want to have a lot of whips, because I do think that your tastes change. So I want to try to kind of get rid of some of those older whips, because I don't know, I imagine that my tastes will continue to develop and change, and that
I think once I found my niche, I've stayed in what I like. It was the finding myself, but I feel like I found myself.
She's found herself.
I have found myself. Okay, so now Stitch Me. I now get 3 fabrics from Stitch Me.
Let's see them.
So, but I'm thinking about potentially getting rid of
did
one
they
of them.
coordinate their packaging bag with the fabrics this
do.
time?
I think they do most times. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep up with this particular one.
Okay.
So this is a half yard of 20 count Aida.
Okay.
And this is the neutral.
See how much smaller those holes look than that 20 count you're working on the Halloween
Way different.
and Hawk Run Hollow?
But it still looks huge compared to the rest.
Yeah, I mean, you may have grown out of that as well.
I may have grown out of it. I'm going to go a couple of more months with it. So my 20 count Aida, I bounce back and forth. So 1 month it's neutral, the next month it's the color.
Okay.
This month happens to be neutral, and it's Portobello. And you too, Heather. You showed it before mine literally came in the mail right after she flipped it up, and I went, no.
I think she told you to look away.
Yes.
She gave the warning.
But you sent me a screenshot that got me after that.
Well, I had to send you the screenshot and let her know.
So, but that's okay. It's because I get 2. So here's, oh yeah. Look away if you haven't gotten your Stitch Me.
Look at this one here. Look away now.
Look away now. Here is December's neutral Portobello. And
really pretty.
Really pretty. And I think that color is pretty. You know, there's something about being in a basement. I think people keep saying natural light, but I think you need to be in a basement. So
it's like a gray.
Yeah.
Really versatile color.
And I like how she models. Like she does it not too much, just enough for it to be pretty, but not so much that it overpowers your designs. So. And then I have, and it's funny how different they look. It's the same color. Again, Twinkle, you really would think I'd take these out in advance. So this is a half yard of 40 count linen.
Okay. Same color.
Same color, Portobello. So I always get the linen in the neutral for this one. But
the linen dye is much darker.
The linen dyes, and it actually looks
green.
More green.
Looks more green
looks
here.
More green. If I don't want to get too close because then it blows it out, but like this is definitely a gray,
right? And this has like all of the greenish tones, and even almost like a plum.
It almost looks like your moss on a tree or something. It's a fairly there green, but it's definitely there, but not overpowering.
I like that one.
So. And one of the reasons I do get the half yard too is I did go to put a cross stitch pattern on one of my fat quarters and it didn't fit. And I was like,
that's true.
So no matter what, I know I'm going to have enough.
Yep.
So there's that. So again, same color, but because it's on different fabrics, they dye up so different. Like if I went to a store, I would be surprised that these had the same name. And that's also one of the reasons too, like dealing with this, that I like to have a fabric of the month stash, because I don't want to order a fabric, wait 2 weeks for it to come to me, and then not be the color I thought it was. Which is no fault of the dyers. It's just cameras just can only take pictures.
The picture on the monitor is not what you get.
Yep. So there's that. And then I also get 32 count Lugana. And this one is always in the color.
So she gets an Aida, a linen, and an even weave.
Yeah. And the other 32 count is a linen. So I get an even weave linen and a 32 count linen. Listen, I gotta have options.
Hey, you know,
Sometimes I really
I
just
can't
want,
fault you there.
I want the natural look of the linen, and other times I don't want to deal with slubs and.
Sure.
So this is called Sunstone,
So pretty.
and this is just gorgeous. So it's not really pinky. It's got like a pink brownish, like really, the name's perfect for it.
Yeah, it is.
So you kind of like see the browns. And I'm sorry, but I really gotta oil this chair. But so here we go, Sunstone.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a peachy salmon color, but very pretty.
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
Yeah,
count.
not
that
like
almost looks like garment fabric.
yeah, not like 1980s peach. Really nice.
Yes. So
Love
there's that. Again, I hate making
Yeah,
it
that's
so
a
far
good-
back, but that's how you
The
get
other
color.
side, I think, is good though because it shows how there's browns. Really nice.
So that is all for my haul.
Awesome.
And I think that might be everything.
That's everything.
Yeah. So we are going to clean this mess up. We're going to do a whip parade,
Okay.
which you'll see in a few more days. And I think we're going to hopefully do this every December, kind of to see
Yeah,
progression
it's a
through
good
the
way
year.
to start the new year.
Yep. Hopefully my phone can handle it because I feel like the whip parade is going to be like a marathon. So it might be done in 2 parts.
Okay.
So we will see you soon.
You got it. Bye. Thanks
Happy
for visiting
crafting.
with us.